Can they hear me? Can they hear me live out there? Next beat. That ain't the beat I wanted to.
Those was wood
another
beats
beat.
right
Another
there.
beat.
You know?
Nope. Give me another beat. Give me another beat. Nope. That's not it. That's the beat. Turn it up.
Oh, word.
Turn it up. I gotta hear it a little louder. Can you make it louder than my headphones? Turn me up in my headphones. I'm still stuck in the 80s/90s. Lottos, kangaroo boots, nanny ghosts, Velas, jumpsuits and troops, Junos, color Levi's, Bugs Bunny sweaters with the rhinestone ring on it. Fighting and making up the next day. Nobody getting shot. Working or hustling to get it, or get got. We had love for the streets, our family, our foes, our friends. Respect for the elderly. Pager/payphone, sneaking into Adams Theater. Watching Crush grooving tougher than leather. Hopping gates out the college port to bank out, cause you don't wanna get caught at mom's crib or at Vaughn's crib. Eating funny dinner with the fam. Church every Sunday, 8 o'clock a.m. And even if I fell asleep in the back row or played sick, no matter what, man, I still had to go. 80s, baby. He's a DJ, I'm the rapper. He's a DJ, I'm the rapper. 80s.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode number 104 of the X-Cast. It's day 5512 in the search for Tim Shovelday. I'm your host, Josh Houselander. With me, as always, the king of the internet himself, Adam Hernandez. How's it going, Adam?
It's going pretty good. How are you, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. You guys just had a quick show, you and Dorf, right?
We were doing a little bit of we did a Sandlot report, and just touching on the playoffs, Major League Baseball postseason that started tonight, and we got some new stuff in the works. Hopefully, with some video stuff for the majors and Empire Media.
Very cool. So if you are a baseball fan, check that out. Sandlot Report, like I said. I wasn't in there. Adam locked me out of the studio.
Yeah, Josh actually was locked out. I didn't know that the door was locked. So I was sitting here. I'm like, why isn't fucking Josh in here yet? And usually he just barges in even if something else is happening.
I like doing that.
Yeah,
actually.
and I'm like, maybe he's being just considerate, like overly considerate. And I go out there, I'm like, dude, you have to wait out here. The door's locked. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and I could have picked it or something, or tried.
You can't pick my locks.
You're right. I probably can't, especially in the dark.
Yeah, it's pitch black out there too.
But that's okay.
The mean streets of Plymouth. I hope you felt safe out there.
No, it was fine. Yeah, it was all good. It was all good. So our president, we got some impeachment inquiry going on. Could very well be the third person in American history, third president in American history to be impeached. He's not going to be removed from office.
Probably not. No.
But I don't know. Is this? I know you. I'm not a Trump fan, Adam. I know you loathe the man. I know you'd love to see him removed from office. But I mean, do you think there's even anything to this?
I do. I think that. Look, I understand. I understand. The two sides of the argument here. Well. Let me rehash this. I've never gone along with the argument. I never believed in the argument that, everybody does it. And what I mean by everybody is that, every president will dabble in something like this, to benefit, their own person, whether it be politically, whether it be financially, yada, 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 yada. Basically saying that corruption lies everywhere in politics and everybody does it. So why should you punish Donald Trump for playing the game?
Yeah.
Why should you? Why should the American public continue to, why should we continue to reward the political the political elite, the corporate elite in this country? Why do we have to continue to do that? Just because everybody else does it and everybody else happens to get away with it, why should that continue to happen? And yes, I mean, and to some sense there is some truth behind that. There's plenty of corruption within politics. whether it's the president, whether it's congressmen, senators, whoever.
Sure.
It's there. But that doesn't mean that we have to constantly turn a blind eye to it. It doesn't mean that we constantly have to see these bad actors, these elite, big politic, big business actors continue to get away with this shit while working class people, while middle class people, while poor people continue to get shit on when it comes to the justice system in this country. It's not fair. It's not it shouldn't be like that anymore. I don't care who you are. So
Adam, I agree with everything you just said. I don't know if this is necessarily an example of that, but I do agree with everything you said. And I realize I'm going to preface this by saying, I realize what I'm about to say is going to kind of sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth here. Because I don't condone illegal activity by our elected officials, no matter how often it happens. You know, I completely agree with you on that point, Adam. I don't care if they all do it. If they all do it, then they're all criminals. You know, if 75% of them do it, then 75% of them are criminals.
Yeah.
At the same time, I've never been a fan of the criminalization of politics. You know, not some things are kind of dirty politics, but they're not illegal. You know, I mean, politicians do play dirty, and I know for certain that isn't always illegal, and I don't think it should be. That's gone on forever. That happens. I mean,
but you're doing it right now. I mean, it's gone on forever. It's
no. Dirty politics has. Dirty politics isn't necessarily illegal.
True.
I'm not saying.
But neither is impeachment isn't a a legal process. Though.
For instance, John Quincy Adams' campaign starting rumors that Andrew Jackson, you know, was dating his wife before she got divorced. That was dirty politics, but it wasn't illegal.
But
it wasn't
again,
illegal.
but again, I'm not saying that you're falling into it. But a lot of people out there get the notion that impeachment is it's some legal trial when it's not.
You're right. No, you're right.
It's a political trial, and it's a political process that, in some sense, has nothing to do with you know, legalities in this country. It has everything to do with whether or not you are a detriment to the highest office in the land. I mean, I see what you're saying, Josh. I do. I don't know. I just don't like the idea of people continuing to get away with something like this, and whoever it may be. I mean, then again, I mean, it's you and I know where we stand politically. I know where we stand when it comes to politicians, when it comes to big government policy in this country.
Right.
I mean, if it were up to me, you wouldn't have any elected officials.
Sure.
You wouldn't have the power structure that you have right now. And I do find a problem with people like Donald Trump, and not just Donald Trump, but people like Donald Trump. And when I mean people like Donald Trump, I'm talking about politicians. I'm talking about big corporate politicians who leverage their situation to garner themselves more power.
Sure.
The only reason why Donald Trump is doing this is so he can hold on to power. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
If
And
Donald,
it's the only reason he's being impeached too, though.
Yeah.
Is so
If-
those people can get their hands on.
True,
more
but
power.
I mean that just goes to a totally different argument, though. That
See, this is where I stand, and I'm gonna loop this back to what you said.
Okay.
Now, do I think what Donald Trump was being accused of is an impeachable offense? No, I actually don't. I honestly don't even think what he's being accused of is an impeachable offense. But then you read the transcript, and I've read them all the way through. He actually didn't even do what he was being accused of. So when you read the transcripts, he certainly didn't commit an impeachable offense. But, lest we forget, like you said, Adam, impeachment isn't a criminal trial. And what is the constitutional definition of impeachment? Well, we love to say this is impeachable, this isn't impeachable, back and forth for, the last 100 years people say that. Truth is, an impeachable offense is whatever 51% of Congress says it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Well, like I said,
That's
I mean,
it, everybody. That's all there is to it. If
It's
51% of Congress says you've done something impeachable, you did something impeachable. 51% of the House, I should be saying.
yes.
And then it's up to the Senate to garner it from there. I mean, I saw a headline the other day. This headline was all over social media, all over just internet, in general. Said, Republican Senate leaders say that they will put Donald Trump on trial in the Senate if the impeachment goes through. Like, that was news. Like, okay, I guess I'm the only person left who actually read that dumb Constitution thing. Like, that's their job. They have to.
Do they have to?
Yeah. There has to be some sort of inquiry. Yeah, if he's legitimately impeached, then the trial.
Because see, I've read a
else.
bunch of different things that says that Mitch McConnell can ignore it. I've heard people say that they would have to have something in the Senate. I don't know. I don't think that. I think there's been plenty of GOP.
If they were to do that, even if he was just to use stalling tactics, then he would stay in a state of impeachment. They wouldn't want that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, wouldn't want that.
I mean, I think in part too the reason why it got to this point. I think Nancy Pelosi was eventually going to bring the inquiry to fruition in the House. I don't think maybe she wanted to do it this early. I think she was going to end up doing it, though, as a political move. I mean, the election is, obviously the primaries, the Democratic primary is going on right now, but the general election isn't that far away. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, what type of political theater would that cause if all of a sudden you have not only, a presidential election, but an impeachment inquiry on top of that for the sitting incumbent?
Do you think they did? Do you think the powers that be in the DNC, do you think some of them did this to screw Biden and get him out of there? To get Biden involved in this, and he's basically being accused of the exact same thing Trump is.
No, I don't. I just think that it's.
Because I'm just this isn't gonna work. So I'm just trying to think of what the political play is, and I'm kind of kicking some stuff around. The idea that, is part of this just a big payback for Bill Clinton back in the day? And if so, is the Senate going to constitutionally screw that up as bad?
Well, like I said, I don't disagree with what with what the Democrats are doing. I don't. I think that I like I said before, I don't like seeing political elites using their offers to leverage more power. And yes, on the flip side, the Democrats may be doing the same thing when it comes to that. But I don't. And I also don't think this is the only thing that Donald Trump should be impeached for. But anyways, I don't think that Biden. I don't think that they're using this just to get Biden out of the way. I don't. I think Biden just happened to come up in it. And when you take a look at when this took place back in July 25th. I think it was a much different race back then than what it is now. I mean, obviously, Elizabeth Warren is in much better position right now than what she was, in the middle of the summer. So.
To me, whether they did it on purpose or not, I don't think Biden's going to be the nominee now. I really don't.
Do you think it's going to be somebody else?
I think, probably Warren or Bernie, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody else. The person that scares me the most as somebody that doesn't like statism and big government rule, and also the person who I think has the best chance of beating Donald Trump is Kamala Harris. I've said that from day one. She's the person that scares the hell out of me. And quite honestly, I think, actually, to me, the only three people, I take it back, and this is just my opinion. and I've been wrong before on this. To me, the only three people in that Democratic stage who have a chance at beating Donald Trump are Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, and Buttigieg.
Those are the only three that
those
have
are
it.
the only three that have a chance, in my opinion, of actually beating Donald Trump in re-election. I don't think he's going to lose.
I think
If I were a betting man, I would say that Donald Trump is going to win this thing, even with the impeachment inquiry going on.
I think any of them have a chance at beating Donald Trump. Whether you're talking Booker, whether you're talking about Kamala Harris, Buttigieg, Sanders, whatever.
Chance, yeah, but I don't think it's a very good chance.
I mean, after what happened in 2016, I think all bets are off. I think when you see what happened in 2016, possibilities in 2020 are endless. You can think of any scenario and you can present it to me and I can be like, yeah, sure, that I could.
Possibly,
whatever.
And I know it's going. I still just say,
within those
incumbents
I'm
don't
not,
lose.
I mean, I'm not talking. I mean, if somebody puts a sheet in front of me that says Marianne Williamson's going to beat Donald Trump in a head-to-head, I'm like, okay, that's crazy. But
no.
any one of those,
Marianne Williamson,
she's still in the race.
God rest her soul. God bless her soul. I think she's a well-intentioned, albeit loony person, but she couldn't primary her way out of a paper bag. I mean, let's be honest. No, nobody's voting for this broad. With respect to her, of course. But hey, most people couldn't even get this far with her qualifications, which are none.
Hey, but Donald Trump.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, I don't have a problem with. Yeah, but that's a different story. My problems with Trump are other things more so than his, non-qualifications. There isn't something. It doesn't disqualify me from voting for somebody that all he's done is he's a rich guy, a real estate mogul. That's all he's done. That's not why I didn't vote for Donald Trump. There's a lot of reasons why I didn't, and that's not one of them.
You don't want a businessman taking over the.
I don't.
You don't want him to run it like a business.
I don't, but that's not why I didn't vote for him. If somebody had the demeanor of Rand Paul and the ideas of Rand Paul, and then they said, and hey, he's only a businessman, he's going to run it like a business, I'd vote for him. That is not why I didn't vote for him, to me, the big play here, in my opinion, or one of the big plays here, is Ruth Bader Ginsburg, in my opinion, is on her deathbed. And I'm not one of these jerks who says, is rooting for that or something in any way, shape, or form.
She's old.
No, God rest her soul. I mean, I think she's a good
bless
person.
her soul.
God bless her soul. She's not dead yet. She's not. Well, we're not 100% positive of that. But no, you're right. Yeah, God bless her soul.
You're saying the Democrats are weekending Bernie's with Ruth Bader.
I wouldn't put them past it. I will say that. I definitely wouldn't put them past it.
Hey, she's fine.
But they can sell it to the American people, and they can even vaguely constitutionally sell it to say, hey, listen, we can't have a president who's under impeachment inquiry, put forth another nominee. We got to wait. But even that only works assuming that the Democrats are going to take this election, and they're not. So, but they could do that. If Ruth Bader Ginsburg, again, God bless her, if she were to pass away next week, and now Trump's got all this time before November to, appoint another Supreme Court justice, they can say, we cannot allow and will not allow a president under impeachment inquiry to appoint a Supreme Court justice. The court will operate with 8 until that's over, and then they hope that they win the election. Granted, you can, if you're under impeachment inquiry the entire time, you can't keep somebody from appointing somebody for 4 years. So he'll get it eventually. You have to. Unless they're just gonna continually shred the Constitution in every way possible. But I do think that's a part of a motive here for it. And all this goes to me. This was a great system, and it's broken now. Neither side is just is operating
It's-
properly.
You know what though? I mean, in all honesty, I think that I don't think I'm as big of a. I don't want to use the word fan. I don't know. I mean, over the
You're not as big a fan of the system as I am. That's true.
no,
I don't think
I guess I was. I don't think the Constitution is as much of a perfect document as a lot of people like to think it is. I guess that's what I was going for right there. So, I mean, I think the Constitution has always been broken. I think it's always favored one group of people over the other, and I think it's really starting to show. I think it's nature. I think that the brokenness of it is showing even more.
I see. I definitely disagree with that statement. But the one thing I'll fight you on, if I will, is that you cannot blame this on the Constitution or say that this is a reason why the Constitution's broken, because we're not using it. We're not following it right now. We're not using it at all. The parties like to hide behind it and say, "No, this isn't the Constitution," but they ignore it 90% of the time.
I know. I'm not even talking about the way that it's being used now. I think the premise. I think some of the premises behind the amendments are broken on their own. I'm not talking about any politician's interpretation or anything like that. I just think that it's that on its own, word for word, I think it's broken, and I think it favors one group of people, and whether or not politicians abide by it today, I mean, I can agree with that. I can say that that politicians, whether you be Democrat or Republican, tend to try to manipulate it to their own.
Well, they've succeeded.
Yeah.
They're no
But
longer trying.
but the bottom line too is Josh is, and I'm sure we can all agree on this. When it comes to Republicans and Democrats and big establishment, party leaders and members, again, whether you have a D or an R next to your name, they're the same.
For sure.
They're the same. So
No, I mean, and the one thing, and I don't want to harp on it, but the one thing I disagree with you respectfully is that the Constitution, of course, is imperfect. I mean, it's definitely imperfect, but I will go as far to say I think it's the best, if not, one of the best, if not the best government documents ever made. You can't. It was the best idea, and still to this day remains the best shot at having a legitimate limited government in this world.
you're such a bootlicker.
It's like I know it's like
God.
it's like in this room when I when I insinuate that I could support the Constitution, that makes me a bootlicker to Adam. And when Adam, this is how far gone Adam and I are. And then when Adam insinuates, I don't know, that someone could be forced to give up 30 seconds of their labor, he's a bootlicker to me. So we're both kind of pathetic. I think we can both acknowledge that we both are pretty far gone when we refer to each other as, when he refers to me as a bootlicker and I refer to him as a statist.
Here goes Josh worshiping a piece of paper again.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm
Excuse
bound
me.
to the Constitution.
Excuse me while I go and get your Blue Lives sticker for your car. Or Blue Lives Matter sticker for your car.
Yeah, I'll put it. I'll peel it off mine and put it right over your hammer and sickle. Statist. No, but speaking of anarchists, this is going to be a wicked awesome segue. Speaking of anarchists, like Adam and I, or like Adam and I seem to be getting, leaning more towards. Have you seen the trailer for the Joker?
I have.
What do you think, man?
I like it.
Do you?
I do. I think that it's... Look, Joaquin Phoenix is a excellent actor.
He is.
I love
For sure.
Joaquin Phoenix. He's a great actor.
He's good at everything.
He's good at just about everything that he does. He can do do both ends, whether it be the the comedic side or the heavily dramatic side.
He can be the heartfelt character that you love.
Yeah.
And then he can be somebody I was talking to the other day, it was a cousin of mine, pointed out to me his role in Gladiator, where he just
You hated him.
God, you just hate him.
Yeah.
He's like, what other actor's that good at just taking a character that's not even that major of a role?
Yeah.
I mean, the Russell Crowe's part is the star of that movie, but you just hate that character.
You wanted Russell Crowe to leave you a piece so you can get some too.
Right. And it's just no, I completely agree that Joaquin Phoenix is an astounding actor. I have a confession though. I'm a huge Batman fan, and within my Batman fandom, I'm a huge Joker fan, of course. Who isn't? But the trailers, it looked dumb to me.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't look that good to me.
Why?
But now I'm making myself turn around because everyone's just saying that this is going to be not just the best Joker movie or the best comic movie. People are talking about this is going to be the movie of the year. This is one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah,
is what people are saying.
Yeah, I'm hearing it's going to be an audition for, an Academy Award for Joaquin Phoenix and so on and forth, which would be nice because it seems like whatever movies are nominated for the Academy Awards are just
movies that nobody actually wants to watch.
Yeah, nobody the movies actually wants to. Movies that are usually nominated for the Academy Awards are movies that people say that that's their favorite movie, but they don't actually like those movies.
Right.
They just like to make it seem like they like those movies.
It makes them look cool or sound smart to say that, or to have them be thoughtful or something. And it's like, no, it actually drives me crazy.
Yeah, there's
people, oh, that was the best movie of the year. It's like, real okay, you didn't see the Avengers?
Yeah,
I mean, come on, let's be real.
It reminds me of that one Friends episode where they're asked, that question. They're like, oh, what is Rachel's favorite movie? They said Citizen Kane or something like that. And then they asked, okay, what's Rachel's real favorite movie? Weekend at Bernie's.
Exactly. Yeah, you have what do you tell people your favorite movie is? What's your actual
favorite movie?
Yeah. I think mine's The Godfather, which I do actually love, but that's what I tell people my favorite movie is. But it's Return of the Jedi.
See, why don't you just admit that?
Well, it depends on who I'm talking to, I guess. But that would be if people were like, okay, don't say a Star Wars movie. What's your favorite movie?
Okay,
I'd probably say The Godfather.
Okay, well, if somebody comes up and asks you, that's legit. I mean, if somebody comes up and asks you, okay, well, what is your favorite? I know you love Star Wars, so I'm just going to assume that you're going to say one of the Star Wars movies is your favorite one. What's your favorite non-Star Wars movie? You say Godfather?
If they preface it like that, then I'm going to feel like I can't answer Lord of the Rings, which really would be the answer.
Oh,
but
Lord of the Rings sucks, though.
Lord of the Rings does not
yes,
suck.
It does.
Oh my God, you're insane.
God, it's just so boring and.
Oh my God. This is going to be like that argument in Clerks 2 if we keep it up, so we'll spare the people.
Jeez, I'm
sorry. He's not down with the trilogy.
God,
You ever seen Clerks 2?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, for those of you who haven't seen Clerks 2, we will spare you the argument we're about to have. Just watch Clerks 2 and you can see it instead. But no, I'm going to see Joker next week for sure. I'm going to see it and report back. And I mean, supposedly, it got a 6-minute standing ovation or something at the Cannes Film Festival, which those are the same people we were talking about. Though,
yeah.
So, a turd gets a 1-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah, I think Catwoman got a 50-second standing ovation.
Right, exactly. So,
like I said, I like it. I think I like what I saw. At least I think as a good actor, obviously, these roles, these Joker roles are tough to come. I mean.
Yeah, how can you top Heath Ledger?
Ever since Heath Ledger, they are. I mean, it's a tough follow-up.
For sure.
It is, and I don't think that he wasn't the best, but Jared Leto's role as Joker, I don't think was as bad as everybody wants to make it out to
No,
be.
it's not. I actually think he did a good job. It's just it was such a hard act to follow with Heath Ledger, and here we are to prove how great Heath Ledger was with it. We're still just instantly comparing Joaquin Phoenix to could he possibly be Heath Ledger?
Yeah.
You know, they just skipped Jared Leto. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not. It's no one's really gonna try to make that argument that Jared Leto was the best Joker. And same with like I grew up with the Jack Nicholson Joker. It was great, but I mean, let's face it. You watch that movie now, and it's too much Jack, not enough Joker. I mean, he just acts like Jack Nicholson for the most part.
And plus, those movies are now obsolete.
They are.
Oh, so you admit it now?
Oh yeah, for sure. They were great. Hey, it was a huge part of my childhood. I love those movies, and I still like.
Because it seemed like you're making fun of me on Facebook when I said that.
Oh, did it? Well, maybe I was. I might have been. I mean, I'm not gonna not make fun of you.
Because I said Michael Keaton's role as Batman was obsolete.
Oh, did you?
Yes, you responded to the comment.
Oh, did I? Yeah. No. I don't totally. Okay. I don't want to say obsolete because I think it was groundbreaking, and to me you can still make the argument that Michael Keaton was the best Batman. You can't make the argument that Jack Nicholson is the best Joker.
Okay, this is
You
bullshit.
can't.
This is bullshit. Okay, we'll get to that in a second.
Right.
Aaron just responded though. Lord of the Rings is better than Star Wars.
See what Aaron's doing here now is he's making me go back on this is a trick. I'm
Just
not,
when you guys were getting along,
I know,
too.
I know. See, I love Lord of the Rings. I do. I absolutely love Lord of the Rings. And I will say this. Sometimes I feel like Lord of the Rings is my favorite because I'm a huge uber nerd of,
Tolkien.
Potsy proportions. But my favorite movie series is Star Wars. My favorite book series is Dune. But my second favorite movie series, my second favorite book series is Lord of the Rings in both cases. So I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. But no, Lord of the Rings isn't better than Star Wars. I mean, that's not.
Let's not get crazy
Yeah,
here.
park the brakes, Aaron. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes.
As it is, the story is better. Tolkien is a master of storytelling.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, whatever.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's right. Aaron, go read a book. Read the books. Read the books. Tolkien was a master. Peter Jackson is not. He left out Tom Bombadil, okay? He left out Tom Bombadil. Go read the books, Aaron.
Where are we? Joker?
Joker.
Joker?
We digress.
No, but like what I was saying, though, it's I think they're obsolete. To me, there's now only 2 Batmans.
Okay, do you know what? Do you know why I will say that Michael Keaton isn't obsolete? Because they've kicked around this idea. Are you familiar with the old Batman Beyond?
Okay, Aaron just called Lucas a ripoff artist. I can't read this anymore. Aaron and I are gonna have some words.
If you ripped off anybody, it was Frank Herbert, not Tolkien. Come on.
Oh man.
Frank Herbert wrote an amazing essay about how awesome George Lucas was. Now he doesn't think he's a rip-off artist, by the way.
Aaron's on the left with me. Aaron's on the left with me. Aaron's on the left. Okay, go ahead, Josh.
I know you got to keep telling yourself this stuff. No, have you heard though? They're kicking around the idea of. Are you familiar with the old Batman Beyond cartoon? Mm-hmm. They're kicking around the idea of doing a Batman Beyond cartoon and having Michael Keaton play old Batman.
No.
And I think that'd be cool.
No.
I think that would be really cool.
See, I thought they were gonna do that at the end of The Dark Knight. With
Oh, okay.
With what's his face?
Christian Bale.
With Christian. Well, I know Christian Bale, but who was the guy that was playing like?
Oh, the guy who played Robin or whatever. Yeah.
It wasn't Robin.
Yeah,
it
but
was,
they called him Robin at the
But
end.
it seemed like that's what it was.
Yeah. That kind of gave me AIDS, that whole exchange at the end.
Hold on, Aaron. I know you're listening. What was that guy's name? I'm hoping he would. He's gonna type it up.
Yeah, Aaron, please. I know you're trolling the show tonight. We love you, buddy, but you just do some Google box research for you since you're at it. I mean, just do this for us. We're gonna put you to work.
Do us a solid.
Yeah. Come on, buddy.
I thought that's what they were gonna do though with it.
For those of you not as familiar with the show, we are talking to Aaron Agemeyer, or talking about Aaron Agemeyer, who
he's been on the show before.
Yeah, the Empire Media contributor. Great.
Yeah, he was He did the Democratic debate stuff with us, but
And hockey contributor way back in the day too.
yeah, I thought that's the angle they were going to be working with that, but then Christian Bale wasn't going to do.
Christian bailed.
Yeah, he Christian bailed on everything, and that was it.
Do you know the only other person I've heard that make great arguments for being a great Joker is Mark Hamill.
Him being
Actually-
Joker?
Well, he has been Joker
Oh yeah, that's
in
right.
all the animated series.
Oh, yeah, that's right,
And
he
he's
has.
done an excellent job. And I've heard some people say Mark Hamill is actually the best Joker. And it's a different kind of genre, I
yeah,
guess.
no,
And I don't go as far to say Mark Hamill is the best Joker. I certainly don't say that. I say Heath Ledger is, but I'll give Joaquin Phoenix a shot. But I do respect what Mark Hamill has done with it, and it's awesome. I mean, the voice, he does the Joker voice. I mean,
Mark Hamill's great, and
Mark Hamill is awesome. I
Yeah.
love the guy.
he's awesome. I love Mark Hamill too.
No.
But yeah, I
I
mean,
was actually just talking to somebody the other day. I won't say her name on air, but I was actually just talking to somebody the other day.
is somebody I know.
No.
Oh, okay.
But she was saying that she just like randomly dropped in conversation that one of her like the happiest moments in her life was when she was on Twitter. She was the head of some Mark Hamill page, and he sent her a DM.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they actually had like a conversation, like direct message conversation for a while, just because somebody had made some comment about Mark Hamill DMing them, and she just kind of said like, "Oh my God, that would be amazing if I got to have a conversation." She said like the next day she gets a DM from Mark Hamill. She's like, "Hey, don't tell anybody."
If that happened to you, would you go all like fanboy on Mark Hamill, or would you just be like, hey,
No,
what's
I
up?
think I'd be cool. I think
Yeah.
I'd try to just be cool,
Yeah.
and that's what she said too. She just a couple of talk with him a little bit. It was just like, but I thought it was cool. It was just like, man, that'd be awesome. Just sitting on Twitter one day, you get a private message from Mark Hamill.
Shooting the shit with Mark Hamill.
It's like, you're Luke Skywalker. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you'd like him too because he's a big lefty.
He's a lefty, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as far left as I am, but
Not far enough left. Well, neither was Mao.
but yeah, I can get on. Yeah, Mark Hamill's definitely. I mean, the shot that he took at Ivanka Trump when
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean that was pretty good. When you know that she's never fucking seen a Star Wars movie in her life, don't give us that shit.
I don't know if Ivanka's seen Star Wars.
She hasn't seen Star Wars.
Probably not.
She has not seen Star Wars. She's probably the one that makes fun of Star Wars.
Maybe. Yeah.
My wife makes fun of Star Wars,
I know
and
she does.
and I'm questioning myself now.
If you have a wife that makes fun of Star Wars, you're looking for love in all the wrong places.
One other thing I want to get to while we're on the subject, Josh,
Sure.
is big news came out last week about Spider-Man,
Yes,
Disney and Sony.
back, yeah.
They are going to be doing. They came to an agreement where Spider-Man's going to stay in the MCU for the time being, at least, and they're going to be doing one standalone Spider-Man movie, which is going to be coming out, I believe, in 2021.
Yeah, I mean,
think?
it's a sequel to the one
Yeah.
that we did.
Yep. And
Which they leave that one in a cliffhanger, so I hope
Yeah.
they do a sequel.
yeah,
You know?
and then they're going to be doing one MCU movie as
Cool.
well. So at least that's what's coming up down the
That's cool.
pipeline.
They
here.
just need to get the Marvel Universe all together in movies, And it looks, I think they are, actually. I think they are actually moving in the right direction in that. But it just sucks that, Sony owns Spider-Man and Fox owns the X-Men and Disney owns the Avengers. It's like, they're all Marvel. I mean, that's not how it is in the comics.
You know what this is.
Wolverine and Captain America know each other.
Yeah.
Like, these are...
Is Deadpool part of the MCU?
When they bought that out, they said that the only thing they weren't rebooting was Deadpool, but he was going to kind of jump into the MCU, but they were not going to reboot.
So he's part of it now. So Disney has the rights to Deadpool.
They do, yes,
Okay.
they do.
Because I think above all, I want to see a Deadpool and Wolverine movie.
Me too.
And
It probably won't, and it won't be Hugh Jackman, unfortunately. But But
Come on, Hugh. One
know.
more time. Well, you don't even have to get in that good of a shape. You can leave your shirt on.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You can leave
too.
your shirt on.
Wolverine can be a little older now.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Maybe this is where Deadpool finally wins in the end.
Right. Right. No, but and hey, it's so easy to put Deadpool into something because his whole thing is about breaking the third wall and everything else. So he can just crack jokes about how he's in the MCU now, and boom, he's in the MCU.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you don't need to come up with some storyline about it. Just like he can just straight up say like, "Oh yeah, so glad we got bought out, and I'm part of the MCU now." I mean, that's what's great about it.
Yeah, that's what I want to see though. But yeah, I mean, you know what though? I mean, this is exactly what sucks about these types of situations is you have two companies that had zero to do with the creative aspect, the birth of Spider-Man and just the MCU in general, all of a sudden dictating, who's in what movie and who isn't. I mean, it's so fucking lame, and it's so shitty, that stuff like that has essentially come to.
It sounds like they're making the right
this.
moves, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it sounds like Sony wanted them back, and I think they finally realized like nobody wants us to have him back. I mean, like that's
but
not
Sony,
the movie
but,
they want.
But judging by the negotiation, Sony won. Because Disney's going to get like 25% of the profits out of the next Spider-Man movie, but they also
That's what it should have been all along.
Well, that's what was originally offered. But Disney wanted 50%. But Disney now has to pay for all the production costs, I'm hearing.
I'm on the MCU side that I want them to have the rights to Spider-Man, but I'm actually on Sony's side too. They should get some bang for this. They should be able to get something in return for this, and God forbid Marvel Disney conglomerate would have to write a check to somebody after all the money they've made off of this. I mean,
yeah, you know how much money you're still going to make off of this shit.
It's like keep control of Spider-Man, and yeah, you're gonna have to write Sony a check.
Yeah,
and you're gonna not make a zillion% profit on this next one. But it's gonna be good. So just be cool with it, man. It's like what Disney's doing with Star Wars too. It's like they stopped production of all the in between movies because Solo didn't make a gazillion dollars.
Yeah.
It's like you still made a lot of money off Solo.
Yeah,
and
so stop fucking with us.
Yeah,
and
just
stop fucking with the fans.
Right.
How about we stop doing that?
It's like,
because you know what? Assholes like Josh and I are still going to watch the movie at some point. Josh will watch it opening day like 3 times, and when it comes out on TNT, then I'll watch it too.
Yeah, Adam's on he's still gonna memorize every Star Wars movie. He's just on a 2-year lull.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? I'm getting Disney Plus or whatever the fuck it's called. I'll be getting that, and I mean, just stop fucking with us.
Yeah.
Stop it. You're gonna make a shit ton of money. You're gonna continue to fucking get everything you can out of the fanboys and people like that out there. Just stop it.
Right. You're gonna bleed us dry, and we're willing to be blood dry for it. It's okay. And that's the thing, Adam, is that you get Disney decided that now that we own Star Wars, we're going to release a Star Wars movie every single year. Awesome. I'm on board with it. That's great.
Yeah,
I'm
do it.
happy. They're going to release a Star Wars movie every single year. And they're going to release live-action TV shows. Awesome.
Cool.
I'm down. And they're going to release cartoons. Awesome. Cool. I'm down. But then they release them every year, and then they act shocked that every single movie doesn't make the money that The Phantom Menace made. When people had been waiting for 20 years.
They're clutching their pearls and...
Right. It's like, come on. You can't expect them all to be the biggest blockbuster movie of all time. Like, you just can't. It's wrong. So
it isn't the
every
way
once
that...
in a while, some of them aren't going to do as good.
You know what? Can you kind of blame Disney for this in the sense that they're billing those movies not to be like
Definitely.
the big, like the big ones that come out with the scrolling text at the beginning of each one. But I mean, isn't that how you kind of set it up?
Yeah,
Didn't you kind of set this up as like the mid card to the main event?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's your fault for for making it out to be something that, oh well, you know what, this is just one of those in between ones.
And
This is a bridge to the next movie that's coming out.
And then they didn't know what to do when Solo and Rogue One were 100 times better than the garbage that they billed as the top bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they didn't know what to do with themselves.
Yep.
So, just be happy. And then the thing is, Disney wants to buy out everything, which is fine. I'm on board with it. This is a monopoly I support. It is. I want it all in together, and I want them to just make good movies. As a kid, I was always hoping Marvel and DC would just merge.
Yeah.
Like why not? It'd be awesome. I want to see Superman fight the Hulk. That'd be cool. But the thing is, they settle these up. They own everything. It's like, you didn't think that maybe when you owned both Marvel and Star Wars, that the Avengers movie and the Star Wars trilogy would, would fight each other a little bit? Like, you didn't think that? You didn't think that when you owned everything that you were going to compete with it a little bit?
Yeah, you're competing with yourself.
If you buy McDonald's and Burger King, you buy them both and keep selling them both, you're gonna make a ton of money. But don't be mad when the Big Mac still competes with the Whopper. I mean, they're natural competitors. It's gonna happen.
The only solution to this is to merge the Star Wars universe with the MCU.
Yeah,
That's the only solution.
I'm down.
It's like if you do the McDonald's and the Whopper. I mean, all of a sudden you start putting Big Mac sauce on the Whopper.
Yeah, and you got the Big Whopper.
Yeah,
you got
the
the Whopper Mac. I don't know.
I like the Big Whopper.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
But I think that's already happened.
Is it?
Has that already happened? I don't eat at Burger King that much. But
the big Whopper.
I'm pretty sure they've already had like a Mega Whopper, a Big Whopper,
Yeah, I think
a
they
Grand
have.
Whopper.
I think it just has like an extra beef patty or
Yeah,
something on it.
It's just, yeah. And I think they have that with the Big Mac too. Don't they have like a bigger Mac now or
I
something?
don't know if they have a bigger Mac or not.
I don't know. I can't eat a full Big Mac myself anyway.
You can?
No.
Puss.
Well, I mean, I probably could, but I mean, I
You can't eat a whole Big Mac by yourself.
I don't know. Maybe.
What kind of wimp are you, man? Jeez.
I don't know. I'm usually a dollar menu kind of guy, you know.
Ugh.
Just give me like a couple of 89-cent hamburgers.
I don't eat meat, and I can. And I know I can eat an entire Big Mac.
Which also we should plug this, and we did finally get a hold of the hottest chip on the planet, the Pocky.
Oh yeah, you did. I thought you were gonna bring it back tonight.
No, I'm gonna we'll do a whole show around that. Plus, okay, here's my main reason. I'll show it right on air. Next week when we do deep issues, I want to try to convince Ed to do. I got two.
Oh,
So
you're
I
trying to
want
get Ed to do
convince
it.
Ed to do it with me. So
You think Ed's gonna do it?
So 2 weeks from today, we'll try to do the Pocky chip, the one chip challenge. It's supposed to be like the hottest thing on planet Earth. We'll find out. Maybe I'll die.
I'm not gonna. I don't want to call the. Do we have to call 911 maybe?
No, don't call 9. Let me die. Don't call 911. That sucks.
He's stuck with the bill.
Yeah, I can't. No, that too. I can't afford that 911 bill. Screw that. But no. You're not calling 911. There's.
Okay.
Yeah, that's lame.
All right. I won't call 911 then.
Yeah, if I can't survive it, then I don't deserve to survive it.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah, exactly. The words of what's the character's name?
Drago.
Drago. Ah, yeah. If he dies, he dies. The harshest line in movie history. Rocky 4. Did you see the new Rocky?
Creed
one?
2.
Creed 2.
No, I haven't.
I liked it.
I'm sure it's good. I've liked. That's the other thing is the newer Rocky movies ever since Rocky Balboa.
Mm-hmm.
I mean
Great.
they've been better than
Yeah.
Rocky 4 and 5.
I would tend to say actually from five on, I think they're better than 3 and 4 for sure.
For me, I mean
I actually like 5.
I mean without the new ones, without Rocky Balboa and everything newer than that. For me, it's always been 2, 1, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, I actually would probably go 2, 1, 5, 3, 4.
God, you put Rocky 5 in there?
Yeah, I do actually.
Tommy Gunn?
I do. I like that one. But Rocky Balboa, that like kind of rebroke the mold. That is an excellent movie.
Yeah.
It really is such a good movie.
It is. It is awesome movie. Creed is obviously really, really good too.
I like the second one better.
Do you?
I actually
yeah,
do,
I have.
yeah.
I still have to see Creed 2. I want to see it. I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, I'm sure it's really, really good.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely. I admit I'm a slappy for that. There is not one Rocky movie I don't like. I do like them all actually. There definitely some are better than others. You know?
Yeah, Rocky 5 though. There's just so many bad. I don't know. Tommy Morrison's I didn't like in that movie. His promoter, like the Don King ripoff
Well, you're
guy.
supposed to not like him.
I know. I just didn't think he was a good actor in it.
Yeah, I know what you
His son sucked in it too. I didn't like his son. That was actually his son too.
Is it?
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
his son's dead now.
Really?
Yeah,
Rockies or
Sylvester
Sylvester
Stallone.
Stallone's
Yeah, the
son
kid
is-
that was in that movie. Yeah, was his
Really?
actual
is
son.
dead?
Yeah,
I
his
did
son
not know
died.
that.
Wow,
I did not know that.
yeah, and obviously it wasn't. And the guy who played his son in the other one, that wasn't the same one. They got another actor to do that, but I don't think his son was dead at that point. But yeah, he's. I don't know. I just didn't like. I thought Rocky 4 was cheesy as fuck with the whole America and Soviet Union type of thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I mean,
It's supposed to be, though.
It Rocky 4 and I think 3 and maybe even 5 too. They're very much they're products of the time period. They were
Yeah,
made in,
yeah, they are.
You know, and that's okay. So they're dated where some of the other ones I think aren't dated.
Mm-hmm.
They the first one I don't think is dated. I think the first one and the second one stand the test of time.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 they're products of what they were. You know, they're a little bit Rocky, a little bit Rambo, a little you know. It's kind of hard to
The
distinguish.
new Rambo was really good too.
Yeah, no, they were. I like those movies too. But there's like the sequels to Rambo and the sequels to Rocky. Those two characters kind of like become like meld into one character.
Brian Dennehy, that fucking pig. You just wanted something to eat.
Good supply of body bags.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into, do we have a news section tonight?
Yeah.
A little one.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we get into that, can I share my Area 51 conspiracy?
Yeah, go
conspiracy?
ahead.
Okay. I'm just thinking.
Were you
know,
disappointed over
Well,
the...
yeah, I was bummed. I'm bummed, that, and I just I couldn't believe it. Like, now nobody tried to rush the thing. Nobody tried to do it. They just. But then I get to thinking, I'm like, if some people did try to rush Area 51 and they gunned them down, would they tell us?
Probably not.
And that's what I was thinking. Like, do we know for sure that there wasn't at least 75 or 100 ballsy dudes who did try it?
And got
they just
killed.
mowed down a bunch of Kyles, and we just they're just like, yeah, we're not gonna tell you we do this. And I'm kind of waiting for whether it's true or not, like the conspiracy, like the YouTube videos, like the don't believe what they tell you. My son did not return from the Area 51. Like, my son didn't return from the Area 51 raid.
You haven't seen it yet, though.
No, we haven't.
Maybe they're offing those people, too.
Maybe. So I just kind of thought, if somebody did it, I don't think they'd tell us.
Yeah, maybe.
But that's it. That's my big Area 51 conspiracy. But, all right.
I guess if it was a bunch of people, though, I mean, shit like that gets out all the time. You had to think that that would get out.
Yeah, I don't know, but maybe they just Men in Black memory zapped them all.
I like that. I think it was you that shared that meme of those two, with the Swedish guys that tried to rush it,
Yeah.
and then you shared that Jurassic Park where the raptors were testing. The raptors are testing the fencing. They don't strike the same place twice.
They remember.
Oh God.
All right, let's go around the Empire.
All right. The Major League Baseball postseason started tonight with the NL wild card. You had the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Washington Nationals from DC, and right now the surprise, the Milwaukee Brewers are beating the Washington Nationals 3-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning. It looks like we have 2 outs. So, yeah, surprise, Washington is trailing in a big game.
Beer drinkers will overthrow the government every time.
It's be a tough situation though for the Nationals. Going another season where they very well could be losing their best player at the offseason. Last year it was Bryce Harper. This year it's going to be Anthony Rendon. Yeah, tough times. Tough times in Washington D.C. And they also could lose Steven Strasburg too if he wants to opt out of his contract at the end of the year. He'd be leaving 4 years and $100 million on the table. So if he decides to do that. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. Let's see what else we have here. North Korea launches ballistic missiles. Japan officials confirm the projectiles North Korea fired on Wednesday morning were ballistic missiles, and none of them reached Japan's territorial waters, known as its exclusive economic zone. So North Korea still launching missiles, and
they're flexing.
No, what?
They're trying to anyway.
Well, whatever. I mean, hey, isn't it? I mean, you always hear this talk of defending, defending your sovereign, nation and defending your borders. Doesn't the United States conduct missile tests? Doesn't any country with the capability conduct these tests?
Yeah, to me, this is a UN issue. This is a UN and a NATO issue, and I just feel like, as somebody that opposes these organizations anyway, like, what good are they? If they want to tell the world that this country can have, okay, these weapons can be had by country X, Y, and Z, and can't be had by country A, B, and C, but then they don't really do anything about it either when they do it. And yeah, you ask yourself, don't sovereign nations have the right to do this? But then you make the argument, is North Korea a sovereign nation? Well, they insisted on never ending that whole Korean War debacle back then.
Mm-hmm.
So where's it at? And they're flexing at Japan. Japan's mad, but Japan's not allowed to have an army because we said so. And it's when you make strides like this around the world, you either gotta put up or shut up. And when it comes to North Korea, I've said before, I'm not sure that we should do anything to them, but we've been complaining about the psychos running North Korea for long before I was born. So either do something about it or don't. Like, you knew they were trying to do this. If we were so concerned about it, then we should have stopped North Korea a long, long time ago. But if we're gonna try to actually act like Kim Jong-un's is a guy that we can negotiate with, well then, doesn't he have the right to have stuff too?
Well, if there's one thing the United States is good at, it's talking out of both sides of their mouth. And you know what? They don't wanna. They hate terrorists, yet they go ahead and sell, arms to the Saudi government, who ends up, bombing innocent people in Yemen, and
right
there you go. So
no, and at the same time, the UN is worthless. The
UN and NATO are both worthless.
They are. No, they're totally worthless. The UN loves to criticize everything the United States does, but then when they say, no, we're going to put a stop to this, by word they mean, okay, we want the United States to put a stop to this. That's all it means, because the U.S. funds it all and does all the dirty work and everything else, and then they get criticized for doing all the dirty work.
Let's see here. Mark Zuckerberg discusses Elizabeth Warren's call to break up Facebook in leaked audio published by The Verge. Leak audio captured Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg saying that if Senator Elizabeth Warren wins the presidency, we will have a legal challenge, and I would bet that we will win the legal challenge, The Verge reported. and this is a further quote on that. If you have someone like Elizabeth Warren who thinks that the right answer is to break up the companies, if she gets elected president, then I would bet that we would have a legal challenge, and I would bet that we will win the legal challenge. And does that suck for us? Yeah. I mean, I want to have a major lawsuit against our own government. But look, at the end of the day, if someone's going to try to threaten something that existential, you go to the mat and you fight. So
I hate it when I agree with Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, Facebook doesn't have a monopoly. You know, I mean, they don't. They have a lot of control. They're huge, but they don't have a monopoly.
mm-hmm.
Twitter exists. Instagram exists.
Well,
Snapchat exists.
Facebook owns Instagram.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, all right, that's fine. But you're allowed to buy out competitors. You know, that doesn't mean you have a monopoly because you bought out a competitor.
Mm-hmm.
That happens all over the place. You know, I mean, hey, MySpace still exists, doesn't it?
To some extent.
I don't even know. Is that?
Yeah, it does. You go to
does
MySpace.
exist.
Yeah, because I think they were trying to brand it as like a place where, you know, bands can, you know, put their music up and shit like that. So
I remember hearing a while ago some celebrity was doing something at a MySpace event. And
yeah,
just,
Justin Timberlake actually bought, I think, MySpace for a
does he?
while. I don't think he owns it anymore, but
I just remember thinking like, God, I didn't even know MySpace was still a thing.
yeah.
But
Jesus Christ, like 15 years ago, it was internet crack.
yeah, oh yeah, man. Oh, MySpace was huge.
Yeah. Let's see here. I guess the new Harley Quinn. What is that? New trailer. What trailer was that? It was the Birds of Prey trailer. It will have Margot Robbie in it as Harley Quinn, and I guess it shows that or depicts her and Joker breaking up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So her and Joker are going to be no longer.
But that's not connected to the Joaquin Phoenix thing, correct?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
That's what annoys me about this. I
Me
wish
too.
they would just.
Me too.
You know, I wish they would connect these things.
Yeah.
It bugs me that they don't.
And that's something that Marvel has gotten a lot better with.
Right.
Is having this stuff be connected.
Yeah, and DC just still keeps screwing.
Yeah,
up.
DC they still keep fucking around with it. Like, you know, the Justice League stuff has nothing to do with, you know, the other Batman stuff, and they have. I mean, I'm sure they're not going to have anything to do with the you know, the new Joker movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yet Suicide Squad, Ben Affleck did play Batman in the first Suicide Squad. So
that is linked.
there was a link to there, but
and it's weird too, Adam, because you get the, you know, then the guy that, like, they started the Justice League thing, and I liked the Justice League movie, actually. I know a lot of people ragged on it. I feel like people were always comparing it to the Avengers, and if you do that, no, it wasn't good. But I did think it was good. I liked it. I liked Momoa as Aquaman. I mean, I thought it was cool. I liked the dude, the young guy that they had playing Flash. I thought that was cool. Wonder Woman was, you know, she did a good job.
Gal Gadot.
Yeah, but then, you know, then you hear, oh, Superman's done. The guy who played Superman's done. It's like, weren't they smart enough to do the thing Marvel did and sign these guys to like a 100-movie deal? You know, and that's what you got to do with these things. You have to sign them to these deals. Like, no, we got you for like 10 movies. You know, if you sign up for this, and even if they're not great at first, you got to give it an opportunity to make it better. I mean, people forget that in the MCU movies originally, they weren't all perfect. You know, like the Hulk movies at first were like
kind of hokey and not very good.
But then they brought it all together. I actually didn't even the first couple Thor movies were okay. The third Thor movie's great, but that's more like a comedy than anything else, you know. But you just gotta, you know. But it was about setting these things up so then they can all meld together and have an awesome movie with the Avengers. But that's what DC just isn't doing.
Yeah.
So who else has been Birds of Prey? Is it Batgirl?
Let me see here. Let me get back to that.
It's usually like the Huntress and Batgirl.
Yeah, I think
that.
the Huntress is in it.
That'd be cool.
Shit, where'd it go? I think I lost it. Sorry. People just have to look it up.
Because that'd be cool. I hope it'd be the Huntress in there. That'd be cool.
Oh wait,
Or
let me see.
Batwoman, maybe. Batwoman's a very cool character.
I think Harley Quinn, Huntress, Black Canary. Is gonna be in it.
Black Canary. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
that'd be cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Have a Green Arrow link in there somehow. That would be kind of sweet.
Yeah.
I like what they did with the Batwoman character in the comics, where she's a lesbian.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, but a lot of people don't realize that that's a throwback to the comic book like the anti-comic book push that was going on in like the 50s and 60s. People were writing books about that stuff, and
When they had to like scale back who the Joker's real persona.
yeah, and they and at the time, they were making all these terrible accusations. They were saying that Batman was a pedophile.
Oh,
And that him and Robin were homosexuals, and that's kind of when the term homosexual is still used like almost like used like interchangeably with pedophile, like totally used incorrectly. So they actually created the Batwoman character then to be a love interest to Batman, to show that he wasn't gay, and that and they did that basically because they had to quit from being criticized. So when all that was far over with decades later, when they kind of reintroduced the Batwoman character, they made her a lesbian just to kind of like be like a slap in the face, like, yeah, being gay is okay, and that's what we do now.
was
so.
Catwoman ever a love interest of Batman in the game?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. But it was always like she's good, she's bad, she's back. Yeah, she was definitely way more of a love interest.
Then okay.
The Batwoman thing was kind of like in the, I don't know if that was the 50s.
Which was
or
Commissioner
60s.
Gordon? Because she was she Batgirl.
That's Batgirl.
Yeah, she's Batgirl at one point.
Yeah, that's.
But then she became
Batgirl
Oracle.
and Batwoman are different. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been a few different Batgirls.
And Commissioner Gordon's daughter is the one that Joker paralyzed.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, she becomes the Oracle.
Yep.
Yeah. But Batgirl's kind of like a mantra too. Yeah, Barbara Gordon is like the most famous Batgirl. But Batgirl's kind of like a mantra like Robin, where different people become, the Dick Grayson in the comics for decades now isn't Robin, he's Nightwing. He grows up, he becomes Nightwing.
Which one becomes Red Hood?
It's Jason Todd.
Jason Todd.
That's the one that the Joker killed, actually.
Oh, really?
But then he comes back
As the Red
as
Hood.
the Red Hood. And then, and then they had Red Robin.
Oh,
Who
yeah, the
then-
restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah, yum. But yeah, so then Tim Drake was Robin for a lot of years after that. But then they introduced Damian Wayne, who's actually Batman's son.
Damon Wayans.
Damon Wayans. Yeah, actually, Damon Wayans was supposed to play Robin.
Damon Wayans was.
Damon Wayans was supposed to play Robin along with Michael Keaton. That movie was never made, and he made a fortune. They paid him like a ton of money for that Robin role that he never ended up doing.
Really?
Yeah. Same with, at that point, they were trying all these things, and I know the two they talk about a lot are Damon Wayans made a ton of money to be Robin that in a movie that was never made, and Nick Cage was given millions to play Superman in a movie that was never made.
Oh, thank God.
I know, it would have been terrible.
Thank God.
Yeah, they've like released parts of the script of that too. They were trying to like totally reinvent Superman, like the S on his chest like came off and it was like knives.
Uh-huh.
So, like it was really dumb.
I saw something online where people were maybe petitioning George Clooney to come back and play old Bruce Wayne because he's got the look down
yeah, he
now.
does.
To maybe kind of revive himself a little bit.
Oh, God, and you can't do Val Kilmer because he weighs like 900 pounds. Now.
You know what? He just did. He's doing Top Gun right now.
Oh, is
so,
he?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
is he back?
He might
is
be
he back in shape?
He might be.
I hope so. I actually like Val Kilmer as Batman. I know he only did in one movie.
I didn't mind him as Batman.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought he did pretty good.
Batman Forever, Tommy Lee Jones, Jim
It's
Carrey.
Two-Face, yeah.
That's a cool
decent
movie.
cast. Nicole Kidman is in it.
Yeah, she's so gorgeous back then too. Yeah, she was hot.
I don't know. We've had this conversation before where George Clooney wasn't a bad Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
He's a
that's just such
shitty Batman.
It's just such a bad movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
you kind of want. I mean, George Clooney is a good actor too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you kind of. I don't look. I'm not petitioning a new Batman movie with George Clooney in it, but you kind of wish, in some sense, that he could redeem himself a little bit, just because he is such a good actor. He is a good actor, and I mean, it's not his fault that movie sucked.
Oh, I know. He didn't make the suit with the nipples.
No, he didn't make the suit with the nipples. He didn't,
He didn't make the Batmobile with no windshield. How the hell does that even work?
Oh yeah, it didn't have. He didn't have the ice skates that pop out, and the Bat card and shit like that. I mean, that movie.
So terrible.
I mean, that script was obviously doomed from the beginning, and
When I know I've said this before, I think even on air, but when I was in my 20s, I had I was introducing my kids to a bunch of different nerd movies, and the Batman and Robin with George Clooney was played in my house so much because my daughter, as a little girl, loved that because that's the only one that has Batgirl in it.
yeah.
So as a little girl, my daughter
worst
loved
Batgirl.
that one, and it's such a dumb movie, but she liked it. So so I feel like I've seen that movie just so many times, just over and over again. But I didn't care. She just wanted the one with Batgirl in it.
Well, speaking of Batgirl, who was played by Alicia Silverstone, who was in the movie Clueless, who also had Stacey Dash in it. Stacey Dash was arrested in Florida for domestic violence.
Oh, jeez.
She apparently beat up her husband, and Stacey Dash was taken in. She was booked. I guess they saw scratches and everything all over her husband's arms. She said that she was acting in self-defense. Obviously, the cops weren't buying it. But yeah, she's being brought up on domestic abuse charges, and she told the judge that she can't afford a lawyer. She is too poor to have a lawyer, and she has asked for a public defender.
Wow, that's a bummer.
But the judge said that you have to prove it. You have to prove your financial situation because it doesn't sound like the judge is wholeheartedly buying it.
That doesn't seem right to me.
You know what?
You should be able to have a public defender whether you're rich or not.
Her
I guess it
husband.
does. It does say in law that if you can't afford one. So that is true. I guess.
Yeah, and would she be taking a public defender away from somebody who actually needs it?
Well, in theory, no, because everyone should be able to have that public defender.
I'm just asking the question.
Yeah. No, it's a valid question, but no, she technically shouldn't be but it does say in the law,
I guess her husband is a lawyer too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that might be her lawyer that she doesn't.
Yikes.
I think that's what I read, that her husband's a lawyer too. So. And supposedly her husband got her kids to lie to the police and...
Oh, you know what? Okay, listen. Domestic abuse is terrible. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely terrible. And I'm not trying to be one of these people that is saying it's worse when a man... but I do think it's worse when a man does it to a woman. But at this point, with this guy, can't you just get a divorce? I mean, you had some scratches on your arm. It was a mess. I don't really see why this is something where she needs to be like... It needs some huge trial. It was messy situation. You got some scratches on your arm. The police came in. The woman was arrested. Divorce her. She sounds like she's a real crazy broad. Divorce her already and move on with your life. I don't get that. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't.
And hey, without trying to be personal, I've lived through things. I've been divorced twice, and I understand that things can be messy.
Yeah.
But I admit I don't know if this is sexism or reverse sexism or what it would be, but I do feel like if a woman is injured, then that's an absolutely terrible thing. But just as a guy who's been like, okay, so you were married to a crazy chick and she scratched up your arms, and divorce her already.
Finally here, Amber Geiger, the former Dallas police officer who shot a man, a black man, in his own apartment, and was found guilty of murder. Amber Geiger, a former Dallas police officer, shot and killed Botham Jean when she entered his apartment, allegedly thinking it was her own. On Tuesday, Geiger was found guilty of murder and will now await sentencing. I'm hearing that she could face anywhere from 5 to life in prison.
She should. This is such a tragic story.
Yeah,
It actually really is.
I mean,
And there is even a tiny bit of me that feels bad for her. I actually do kind of believe it. She seems a little trigger happy.
You know what though, Josh? One thing, and I'll let you finish there in a second.
Sure.
How are these cops being trained?
I don't know.
How are they being trained to all of a sudden, just because you can't see somebody's hands, that gives you're trained to shoot to kill at that point? Mm-hmm. How are these? I mean, why do cops need to be trained to this extent where
I don't know.
this type of a reaction is necessary? Because this isn't the first time we've seen something like this. I mean, hell, there's that guy in Minnesota who was shot when he was up front. Yeah, I have a gun in the car. I have a license to carry this gun, and he gets shot. I mean, what's with the training here?
I don't know.
I mean, because I'm questioning that as well as, a bunch of other things, but I don't understand where these cops get off on thinking it's justifiable to use deadly force just because you can't see somebody's hands.
One of the biggest problems I have with the way this case is covered in the media too is this idea that it matters that she's a cop. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This man was shot in his own apartment, doing absolutely nothing.
Do you maybe think that they're looking at it from from an ironic standpoint that, oh, this is a police officer that's supposed to protect people, but here they are busting into somebody else's, residence and shooting them?
Yeah, and I feel
even though that's not totally.
I feel like that this, if anything, the fact that she's a police officer should hurt her in this case, and she was found guilty, so maybe it did hurt her. But this idea that, she should have done it if she was a cop, or she shouldn't have done it if she was a cop. No, truth is, if somebody is sitting in the middle of your living room, you have the right to shoot them, whether you're a cop or not. That has nothing to do with being a cop. You have the right to defend yourself. And, so if it was a CCW holder, or hell, even if it's not a CCW holder, even if it's somebody who's carrying a gun, quote unquote, illegally, and you walk into your own home in the middle of the night and somebody's standing in your living room, you have that right. But that's not what happened here. The tragedy of it is, it wasn't her apartment.
No, it wasn't her apartment. It wasn't her apartment. I think people are. I think the media is, they're using this just because I think it is relevant because she used, I believe in her testimony, she was using the typical,
I couldn't
cop,
see his hands.
the cop talking points. Yeah. Well, I couldn't see his hands. Yada yada yada. Well.
You don't have to show somebody your hands when you're standing in your living room and somebody busts in. In fact, your natural reaction is probably going to be to try to fight that person.
Yeah. I mean, why? I mean, even so, I mean, why does a cop need? I mean, why is that all of a sudden a justification to use deadly force on somebody just because you can't see their hands?
Cops are not above or below the law.
You have,
either. This, whether or not she was a cop or a firefighter or worked at your local CVS, has no relevance.
No.
It was. She can say, "I thought it was my apartment." She was drunk. She was whatever it was. I don't even know. That I know that's all up for debate. All you're doing at that point is you're selling it as it wasn't first degree murder. You can sell this as it's second degree murder because you are acknowledging your mistake.
Yeah.
You're acknowledging the terrible mistake you made, and I thought it was my apartment. I realized it was wrong. That has nothing to do with her being a cop. The only thing that has to do with it being a cop is she's had training, and she should know a little better. You know, I like to think, because listen, I live in a third floor apartment, and I can see how you could come home. You don't have to be drunk or high or anything else. I could see where you could come home late at night and not be paying much attention and accidentally open the second floor apartment door. I could see where you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my apartment's like that. I live that every day. I've never done that, but I could see where you're talking on the phone, you're thinking about something else, you don't remember how many stairs you climbed, and you walked into that door that looks exactly like yours. But especially if you're a police officer, you're any person who's pulling a firearm at this point, but especially you're a police officer, don't you recognize that it's not your apartment then, once you open the door? I know it's dark, you know, I know that, but I would like to think that if I did that and my neighbor had their door unlocked, that I would say, "Oh shit, I'm so sorry." You know, I just opened the wrong door. I'm so sorry.
She opened the door, she fired on this guy, she killed him. They're saying that she did nothing to, you know, help this guy, you know, while he lay there dying in his own apartment after being shot. Yeah.
And even if you made a terrible mistake like that, wouldn't you know, like, right away then that that's not where my couch is? That's not my TV? That's not my kitchen table?
Yeah.
Oh, crap. This isn't my apartment?
Yeah. My bad. Sorry.
You know, I mean, this is, you know, I do acknowledge the idea that people who make mistakes, that should be taken into account, you know, with the law. But some mistakes are unforgivable.
Yeah.
You know,
You killed this guy.
yeah, you know, you killed this person. He's not coming back. You know, I mean, really, I would like to think that.
The only thing he was doing was eating ice cream in his living room.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that's it for me, Josh.
Yeah, no, I know, and, you know, some people have made light of it, and they've, you know, I saw some social media posts where they were kind of talking about this, saying, like, you know, joking, of course, a joking headline saying people fear that this case is setting a precedent that will not allow cops to shoot people whenever they feel like it.
That's not something that's funny. That's something that's becoming more and more true.
Right, it is.
I mean, that's ironic. People might think that's funny, but the irony of that is that it's
that's
becoming
right.
it's becoming more true when it comes to law
Yeah,
enforcement today.
being a police officer isn't supposed to be a license to kill.
No, it's supposed to be a license to protect.
Right.
License to protect people.
Yeah.
Your job is to work for the people.
No, and there does seem
And
to
it's
be
not
a
like that.
strange balance of people who are this thin blue line who's supposed to protect us, and they're heroes for being out there. Yet for people who have been trained to put their life on the line and be heroic, they sure do fear for their life a lot.
Yeah. Fuck
You
them.
know?
Fuck them.
It's tragic. I mean, how many, you know?
You know, they're agents of the state. Whatever benefits the state is their call to duty.
You know, and I
That
know
is-
I know there's good cops out there that probably hate it when these jokes or comments get made, but it's like, how many dogs need to get shot before we acknowledge that maybe there's some cops out there that just like shooting dogs?
They still undertake the profession.
Mm-hmm.
They still undertake the profession. They still swear loyalty to the state
Right.
and whatever the state wants them to do.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm a Second Amendment guy, Adam, and it's kind of incredible to me when I hear people say, "Well, but I think the vast majority of our police officers and military members wouldn't enforce a law that said they had to confiscate guns from people." And I always just think, really? You think that?
No,
That's what you think? That they won't come take your guns when they're ordered to take your gun?
maybe a couple of them.
Maybe a handful.
Maybe a couple of them. Yeah, a handful might
might
turn
be
in their badge
couple
and
of honorable good souls who
Yeah.
say, no, I refuse to do that. They'll hire somebody else the next day.
yeah.
Really, they will. For you good cops out there who think, no, us cops won't do that, reality check time, guys. Maybe you won't. Maybe you're telling the truth, but then they'll fire you and they'll find somebody that will. Sorry. There's plenty of people out there who are willing to...
Could be put to the test sooner rather than later. Here, I mean,
I think you're right, Adam. Unfortunately, it's very unfortunate, but you know, then on the other hand, I hear the big time Second Amendment guys, you know, Molan Love, you know, come and take them. That's you know, hey, I'm with you. I appreciate the sentiment. Or the famous one, of course, is the, you know, peel it from my cold dead hands. Is that really your desired end game? You know, I really respect your conviction to say if they come get my guns, they'll peel them out of my cold dead hands. You realize in this scenario you're dead, right? You're cold and dead with something being pried out of your hands. This is this the end game you're really looking forward to here?
Yep, I'll go ahead and take that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's unfortunately, yes, that is how it would end. They will be prying it from your cold dead hands, and it's not a good thing. Let's try to stop it from happening the right way first. That's what I think anyway. But is that a wrap?
That is a wrap.
All right. This has been XCast number 104. Join us in this time slot next week. Well, we will be doing Deep Issues, the show we actually had to miss from last month on Deep Issues. We will be back with that next week with myself, Adam, and Deep Issues expert Ed Zaharsky. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
What is it? It's
It is Award Shows as an Altar.
Yes.
Is next week's topic. And, you know, branching out to several different things with that. But, and Pumpkin's getting close to empty. And then October is a 2 Deep Issue month, but our final one will be our annual Halloween show.
Yep. Which, yeah, we are, hopefully we'll have a rundown of the locations we'll be going. Hopefully.
Yeah.
No,
our Halloween show is always a lot of fun, so I'm hoping you guys will like that. And then also super scary, I'll be eating a chip out of a coffin 2 weeks from now.
And well, Josh may not be around for the Halloween show because
Right,
he may be dead. Maybe Josh is the one we'll be contacting during maybe he will be on the Halloween show. I don't know.
You know what?
You could be dead though.
If I die eating the Pocky ghost pepper chip, then you should dedicate the Halloween show to Ouija boarding me into the show.
Well, yeah, that's what we'll do. And I mean, will you promise to make an appearance then on the show?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, good.
Definitely. I will be there to haunt you at on the last Tuesday of the month if I don't survive.
Just make sure you're buried in an Empire Media shirt, just so you're still, you know, presentable
sure.
and everything.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, good.
I've always had plans to be buried in an Empire Media shirt anyway.
Is that how it works though? Do you come back as like whatever you're buried in, or?
I think so. Yeah, it's a good, you know, it's something that people should take into account when they put their clothes on. Remember, if you die wearing the clothes, you're gonna be haunting people as a ghost in it for the rest of eternity. So don't wear something you hate.
Oh man, so my dad is gonna be in my uncle's suit for all eternity.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah, my uncle had to give him a suit. Sucks.
Yeah.
I'll be giving up my suit. That's for damn sure.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
All right. This has been webisode number 104. We'll catch you next week.
Cool. See you, everybody.